Chapter 6: Pattern Recognition. The air in the diner hung heavy with the smell of old grease, stale syrup, and years of smoke embedded in yellowed ceiling tiles. Reed Barrett sat upright in the corner booth of Mabel's Griddle, his back to the wall, eyes angled toward the entrance in the grime-coated windows, a habit born from long experience. Outside, the Texas sun shimmered across the parking lot, turning the asphalt into a wavering mirage. Faded flyers clung to the glass, their edges curled and bleached by time. Fingerprints smudged the lower panes where countless hands had pushed their way in. The waitress hadn't returned in over an hour. His coffee sat cold, untouched, its dark surface reflecting the harsh fluorescent lights above. It was there more as an excuse to linger than a drink. On the table lay a thin manila folder, 5 pages, each one crowded with Reed's tight handwriting, notes, arrows, questions, patterns beginning to form. 3 days of digging through what little remained of Marcus Haverly's trail, fragmented financial records, gaps in traffic coverage, signal handoffs between cell towers that led into digital blind spots. The recovered vehicle, the timelines. What stood out wasn't what the reports revealed, it was what they didn't. No signs of disorder inside the van, no indication of panic, no evidence of chaos or resistance. Everything suggested control, planning, precision. The environment had been handled carefully, too carefully. No obvious tools, no visible shortcuts, no impulsive mistakes. This hadn't been random. It hadn't been sloppy. It had been organized. Haverly hadn't acted like a lone operator driven by impulse. He had followed a process, a system, one that had been used before. And systems didn't belong to individuals, they belonged to networks. The more Reed studied the details, the clearer it became. Haverly had been a function, not a mastermind, a piece in a larger structure. Someone else had designed the workflow. Someone else had written the rules. Reed's finger traced a circled name on the top page of his notes. The Sean Lindley, a contractor buried inside shell company records. Payments that didn't match job descriptions. Locations that overlapped with key movement corridors. A background dotted with incidents that never quite reached courtroom resolution. Lindley wasn't the architect, but he was connected, a facilitator, a go-between, someone who knew how things moved quietly from one place to another. Someone who'd seen enough to know the shape of the operation, even if he didn't control it, close enough to feel the heat, far enough to be expendable. That made him useful. Reed closed the folder, the sound barely audible in the thinning diner. His reflection stared back at him from the dark coffee, hollow, focused, already calculating the next step. The trail pointed north, to Denton. The hunt was shifting, from data to ground. And Reed knew once he started pulling on that thread, the pattern would finally reveal itself.